I'm standing outside the Old Bailey Central Criminal Courts in London shortly after Tommy Robinson was sentenced to prison for live streaming his political commentary on Facebook outside a rape gang trial last year in Leeds. This has been a very long procedure, 14 months back and forth in the courts. Tommy has already served 10 weeks in solitary confinement before that original conviction was quashed. This was a retrial, and yet he was convicted again and sentenced again. The long and the short of it is he was sentenced to a maximum of 9 months in prison. They reactivated an old 3-month suspended sentence, added to it a new 6-month sentence, and ordered that they be served consecutively. 9 months in prison for citizen journalism. But, as I mentioned, because he served some time improperly, he gets credit for that. There's other mathematics that apply. So in the end, the effective sentence will be 19 weeks in prison. And again, because there's a rule about early release, Tommy will be out in 9.5 weeks. So after all the math, Tommy Robinson will be in prison for 66 days.
So Tommy, what does this verdict mean, not only for you, but what does this mean for the country?
It probably means for me I'll go to jail next week, which is unbelievable. I'll go to jail for asking someone on the way into court as a journalist, how are you feeling about your verdict? That's all I've done. That's all I've done. The video's there for everyone to watch. That's all I've done. How you feel about your verdict? And I'll go to prison for the second time. And they know what that means. It means there is not only no freedom, because we know we've got no free speech, we know we live in a post-free speech era, there's now no free press. You're not even allowed to ask that question. You're not allowed to... I've been convicted for taking a photo of someone. How many journalists took photos of me as I walked into court today?
Well, so the video they showed in court of the press surrounding you last time you were going into the Old Bailey, and there was the BBC reporter. She asked you the exact same things. How are you feeling? So how should the press be feeling? What should they be thinking right now?
They should be worried, but they're celebrating. They're all happy. They're all happy. It's insane. It's insane, but you can see how corrupt they are because they don't even ever report. Every one of them run the same headline. They're all in the same club. They're not reporters, they're activists. They're not reporters, they're not journalists, they're activists. I'll just, yeah.
And so the next hearing for the sentencing is going to be on the 11th of July. Yeah. So what's the plan until then? Where is your head at? What are you planning to do?
I thought, I got told it would be adjourned for 4 to 6 weeks, which is why I'm upset, because I thought if I go jail, I'll go jail at the start of September after my kids break up for school holidays for 6 weeks. Next week, it's going to do my nothing.
And what's the plan for tonight?
I'm going home, mate. I was meant to be out tonight. I can't bother now. Yeah.
And do you have any message for either your supporters or for the police or for the judges or for the media themselves? Really what they've done, what they don't understand is they say that they're trying to restore faith with the British public in the rule of law, how things have to be done at courts. They lost the faith of the British public when they unlawfully and illegally in a flawed trial put me in jail. They knew that left it open for me to sue them for millions because of what they've done. This prevents that now. I think that, I don't know. I think that people in America, people in other countries should look on. Donald Trump, if you're watching, I've already said, give me asylum before next Thursday, because I reckon I'll get killed in jail.
Ezra Levant, I'm standing outside HMP Belmarsh, the prison outside London, where Tommy Robinson has been incarcerated for these past 66 days. Behind me, you can see photographers from the Daily Mirror, the only photographers who were here today. It was kept a secret, the exact time and location, the exact time and date of Tommy being released. And here he is now. Yeah, the camera's pointing this way. They've been very insistent that I not. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, thanks.
How you doing, mate?
Good to see you, man. You all right?
I'm doing great. Look at you.
I know, man. I'm first stop hairdressers, yeah? I know. Have your fun with your memes.
Tommy, it's great to see you.
It's good to be seen.
You're in better health than you were last time. We visited you a few times. Say a few words to your supporters who have been rooting for you these past 66 days.
Yep. I'd say it's been... I've enjoyed reading the support and hearing the support. For me, the main thing for this should be an embarrassment to the British government, an embarrassment to the judiciary, in the judge's words, so let's pretend I did commit contempt of court, which I didn't. In her words, it was unintentional. So something that was unintentional that had zero effect on a trial would result in a journalist, being put in prison, spending 2.5 months of solitary confinement in Onley. And this is the crazy thing. I walked into Belmarsh prison and walked out without seeing another prisoner.
But in a way, that was good because
in
Onley, they would have killed you if they could.
No, they would have done, yeah. Essentially, the governor here has done... I don't have a negative word to say about Belmarsh prison or any of the staff.
Other than the insanity that you were in here to begin with.
Other than the insanity, and by putting me at the Old Bailey, they knew they'd get me in Belmarsh. So then they can get me on isolation. Whereas if they would have put it in the second biggest court in the land, which was Winchester, I'd have gone to the Cat B local in Winchester. I'd have been fine because there's no Muslims in the jail. But essentially, I know I look a mess, so have your fun with it. And it's ginger, so I look like a little cowardly convert coming out of jail. Salam alaikum. Do you know it took 16 days? This is another thing. It took, which is what I find quite. The imams come to see me each day.
The imams.
The imams every day.
Are they trying to get you on side?
They weren't. They were all nice, yeah. And it took 16 days. Yeah, I'm not bothered about that. It took 16 days. 16 days before a Christian come.
Really?
Every day, and 4 different imams within the 16 days, and then a Christian come. And when he come, I was just like,
holy cow.
There is a Christian one.
Well, listen, there are a few other media who came here. What's your message to the media? I have to say the mainstream media, the Daily Mirror's here, they were here early.
You read their lies?
Can you turn you around to get you with the back?
No, you can't film the prison, mate. You read their lies. You read their lies. The Daily Mirror lied, saying I was attacked. The Daily Mirror lied, saying I was attacked in this prison. You lied. Yeah, you lied to the public. You made up an entire story, or you're part of the propaganda that's pushed out. My only message to them is, you're a disgrace and embarrassment, because if this happened to a journalist in Hong Kong, if what's happened to me happened to a journalist in Russia, in China, you'd all be up in arms. But because I talk about Islam, you're all silent. You're all complicit in the attack on free speech that we're witnessing. You're all complicit on what's happened to our country. All of the media are.
Well, that's a great point. Right now, there's Venezuela.
I was found guilty by an appointed judge. By an appointed judge.
That's how
2
the
weeks
law
before.
works.
No, not by jury. Common law, English common law, says that if you can face over 6 months in prison, you get a jury. I was not given a jury.
So you think you'd be not guilty if it was a jury?
I know
trial?
I'd have got found not guilty, and so do they. It's the only offence in the whole entire country, yeah, that you can get taken to prison for up to 2 years without a jury. Without a jury.
Well, that's how contempt works. That's
No,
the law.
that's not how English common law works. So that goes against English common law. And why was I at the Old Bailey? You tell me as a journalist, why was I at the Old Bailey? 13 murder trials and me for holding my phone up, and I was convicted of
high profile, Tommy.
Because I'm high profile, that's why I'm at the Old Bailey.
Well, maybe it is.
What difference does that make?
Because they know you're going to have all your fans are going to be there.
What difference
and
does
they
that
know
make?
because obviously the security procedures aren't the same as the Old Bailey as they are at other courts.
Why? I've been to 10 different courts over the years. They've never moved me to the
But your popularity has increased. Look how popular you are.
I'm glad you recognise that.
Tommy, it's really
because
weird.
of your failures.
It's weird to have the media debating with you.
Arguing because they're not media. They are not media. They're not journalists reporting stories.
I've never seen this before. That a journalist is taking the role of the prosecutor. I mean, I like a good prickly question myself, but of course I've never seen this except for
question people. It's our job.
No, you're not questioning. You're telling me. You didn't question. You're telling me. But at the same time, yeah.
Well, Tommy, tell you what. Let's get you a haircut. Let's get you a hot meal. Let's get you reunited with your family, wife and kids.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. We're going now.
Just before you leave.
Thanks ever so much.
So yeah.
All right, Tommy. Well, listen. Let's get you cleaned up.
The sun, mate. The sun.
You got a lot of friends and fans. Give us one word about the mail. I know that there was about a month before you were able to get your mails.
Yeah,
we'll be in that.
So there's I think there's 14 sacks. I read
14 sacks of mail.
I read every single one of your messages, every single bit of your mail, and it was emotional for me to read the effect it has on people, and it's also fulfilling to see the amount of people that woke up, that were awakened by what the British government have done and what they're doing.
All right, let's take care of you, my friend. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're free. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.